I've been promising this video to people in the comments for so long, and considering that 40% of people who watch this channel are between the ages of 25 to 35, I'm going to put a bet on the fact that this topic will become a lot more relevant to a whole load of you in the next couple of years.
You're not pregnant, you're probably just getting fat.
So when it comes to the little nipper, it doesn't matter if you planned it, your other half demanded it, or the Johnny broke when you one night standed it. Raising a mini human will be one of the most rewarding things you ever do with your life. So let's repay the little maniacs by making them millionaires, shall we? And the best thing is, unlike V-Bucks, slime, squishies, poppets, and the constant burden of supporting someone with a fruit shoot addiction, it's not going to cost you that much money. I promise. Let's go.
Did you borrow somebody's pregnancy test?
Please tell me you're not messing with me right now.
No, got a number 2 in the oven, yeah!
Bill Ackman, the legendary investor, once said that the American government should give all children between $6,000 to $7,000 at birth invested in an index fund that they can't touch until they retire.
Bill, it's great to see you this morning, to be able to talk to you on a morning.
Data would suggest that that cash at retirement will be worth in excess of $1 million, if we assume an average growth rate of around 8%. Now this is where the UK system could be argued as broken. We currently spend around $101 billion a year on state pension in this country.
I was speaking to one minister who said it would be absurd to raise the state pension by 8%. They said, we cannot do it.
You know that measly 179 quid a week that you get from the government once you turn 66? I mean 101 billion a year for that. Maybe if we stopped focusing on supplementing pensions at the end and instead gave money to children when they were born, we might be able to reduce that cost over time. There were 712,000 children born in the UK in 2019. I know what you're thinking, don't worry, I thought it too. 129 of them were called Carol. Keep the dream alive. If the UK government gave those 712,000 children 5k at birth, locked away in a global index fund, the cost would be around 3.5 billion a year. Front load the cost and let compounding do the rest. Unfortunately, governments don't tend to be that forward thinking, and it's unlikely that change that radical will ever come into place. So it falls to us, the parents, to ensure that our kids are sorted in later life. But believe it or not, the government isn't all bad. There's 2 tax-efficient structures that we can use here in the UK to help set our offspring up for life. The key with this is to think long-term, whilst also thinking kind of short-long-term. What I mean by that is, there's 2 periods within a child's life that I ponder over. That period between 18 and 25 when I want to give them a leg up in life, and the other period at retirement when I want to make sure no matter what happens, they will be comfortable and able to feed themselves. So let's look at these 2 products, starting with the Junior ISA. On average, it takes around £152,000 to get a child in the UK from 0 to 18.
Do you know how much that is?
So parents could be forgiven for wanting to cut that financial umbilical cord as soon as they leave school. But the reality of the situation is pretty different. A study in America found that 79% of parents are still supporting their adult children financially in some way. It's hard to say no to your kids, as no parent wants to see their children struggle, even as adults. But the reality of the situation is, those are some prime years for yourself financially, that you should either be saving for your own retirement or spending your money on yourself. So a Junior ISA could be a good thing for parents to build up, so at the age of 18 they can give the pot of cash to the kid and go, look, that's your lot. Get out of this house. You can let compounding do some of the heavy lifting for you. Like the pension example a minute ago with the government, you can front load that cost, so when it comes to the time that your kid's in their 20s and they want a new car or to go to university or the deposit for a house, they're not pecking your head constantly. So here is the TLDR on a Junior ISA. Think of them like a normal ISA but for kids. So they must live in the UK, be under the age of 18, and there are 2 types, cash and stocks and shares. Personally for me, because the plan is to grow the pot of money as large as I can, and typically when you're talking about investing for a child, there's long time horizons of over 10 years, I would only really be considering a stocks and shares ISA. But you can have both a cash ISA and a stocks and shares ISA for your child if you want. The adult manages the Junior ISA with full control over it, but any money that goes in cannot be taken out.
And it's gone.
The child can then take control of the ISA at the age of 16, but can't take any money out until they're 18. There's a £9,000 a year limit on the amount of money that you can pay into that ISA for a child each year. And the best thing about that limit is it's separate to your own personal allowance for ISAs of £20,000 a year. 9k a year for most of us is a lot of money. Below I've linked a compound interest calculator that you can have a play around with, so you can see even with small amounts of cash each month, you can build up quite a sizable pot over that time period. Here are a couple of examples. If we assume a rate of return of 7%, not factoring in for inflation and fees, and you pay in 25 quid a month, after 18 years you have £10,768, or £20,251 if you left it for 25 years. 100 quid a month, you are looking at about £43,000 in 18 years. If they didn't touch it until they were 25, they would have 81,000. And if you had the means to max out the 9k a year, they would have a very serious 323,000 by the age of 18. The best thing about it as well is, just like a normal ISA, any gains or any money that you make within the ISA is tax-free when you take it out. There are loads of different providers of junior ISAs with different benefits and features. HL has probably the widest selection of investments, and Vanguard looks the cheapest on paper, but they have a £100 per month minimum investment required. There are also other platforms that allow you to invest as little as £1 a month, but the fees are slightly higher. I've linked an article below that explores all the UK junior ISA options and dissects the fees. It's from Money to the Masses and it's written by a guy called Damien, so it's got to be good. When it comes to what investments you should put inside of your junior ISA, it's all about thinking long term and setting it and forgetting it. So for me, it's all about global index funds, or something like the S&P 500 if America's more your bag. Global fund examples would include the HSBC FTSE All World Index Fund, the Vanguard FTSE All World ETF, or the Vanguard FTSE Global All Cap Index. I would just be focusing on low fees and global diversification if it was me. Right. Let's just address the elephant in the room. There's one major concern with a junior ISA, and that is when the kid turns 18, they just blow all the cash. A Saxo or Punto with a rear spoiler and a body kit can look mighty attractive when you've just been given a chunk of change.
All smoothed and grooved. It's got the Vortex spoiler, up-level high spoiler, high-level spoiler.
So there needs to be some close encouragement at the point your child turns 18 to stop them from throwing the cash away.
Over the course of just 10 minutes, he managed to spend over $2,500 of his parents' money.
Another option instead of using a junior ISA is, if you don't max out your 20k a year, own individual ISA allowance. You could just invest for the child within that ISA, and then obviously you have full control of the money at all times. And then when they want a house or a Punto or a Saxo, whatever, you can just take money out your own ISA and buy it for them. I personally like to keep pots separate because I don't want to dip into my ISA until I want to do that. So if you want a longer term structure, something to ensure your child's future right down the road, then a junior SIPP might be the one for you. Retirement poverty is a growing problem in the UK, with 2 million pensioners currently being described as in poverty. We should all save for retirement as soon as we can, but life often gets in the way. So imagine giving your child the gift of a 20-year head start on most other people.
In order to pick the right stocks, we had to do a lot of research, especially because the economy wasn't doing well.
Also, the nature of the junior SIPP means they can't access the money until they're 55, and that's probably soon to be 57. So that means they can't just blow it on a Fiat Punto or a wild week in Kavos.
Back in Kavos, 19-year-old Ross's holiday is also ending.
Best holiday ever.
The junior SIPP forces your child to think longer term. Imagine the motivation that they feel towards it as they grow older and they see this pot of cash that you started when they were born just flourish. Even 20 quid a week, every single week for 60 years will produce ridiculous results over that time period. There is another benefit to the junior SIPP, and that is the fact that the government will give you free cash in the form of tax relief when you pay money in, topping you up by 20% for whatever you put in automatically. The maximum you can put in on a yearly basis is £2,880, and the government will make that up to £3,660, which is nice of them. The main things when looking at these SIPPs is fees. Making sure that you get these fees as low as possible, because just like the returns compound, so do the fees. Fidelity has a great option as they don't charge service fees on junior accounts. Bear in mind though that they charge you per trade, so the best way to work it with Fidelity is to actually build up a pot of cash over the course of a year and then buy your investments at once. So you pay £1.50 for the purchase rather than £18 over the year. So you could just deposit cash onto it, and at Christmas each year you could just invest the money, something like that, I don't know. HL and AJ Bell are also worth checking out, but they will be more expensive than Fidelity, especially on smaller pots of cash. I've linked a comparison below of all of the services so that you can compare them and decide which one's right for you. When it comes to investments, same logic again, set it and forget it, long-term investing. So for me, it's all about a global index fund that's really nice and cheap. The key thing as well to remember with a SIPP, this is a pension, it's not an ISA, so the funds will be taxed when the children take the money out at the end. If you find a fund that you like the look of, I'm happy to give you my opinion in the comments section below if you just put the name of it there. But that is all it is, an opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, I can't give you financial advice. If you want financial advice tailored to your specific circumstances, go seek out a licensed professional. All I'll be doing is looking at the fees with the fund, the holdings, and how well it tracks the underlying index that it is meant to track. Before we finish today, I just want to do a little giveaway to reward any of you that are still watching the video at this point, because honestly it's greatly appreciated. Now, because the video is about investing for kids, you're going to need a kid to enter this giveaway. I will do more in the future that are for people that don't have kids. But it's really simple. If you've got a kid, just bang their name below in the comments. I only want the first name or the nickname, whatever, and if you've got multiple kids, feel free to put multiple names. And what I'll do is I'll use a random comment picker thing to pick out a winner, and then I'll put £100 into the Junior ISA or Junior SIPP of the child that won. I will need you to prove that you do have kids. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I've had it before where people have entered and tried to scam the money pretending to be someone else. We'll do that in private and we'll figure it out in due course. But yeah, just pop the name below and I'll pick a name out the hat. It's going to be 7 days from today is the cut-off point, and there's full details of the giveaway in the description below if you want to read through the rules. At the end of the day, there are so many parents out there that struggle with money, and I know they will want to ensure their children don't. I firmly believe that our governments have failed us as children by not teaching us about money in school. What that leads to is adults that don't understand money trying to teach their own kids about money, and that just produces bad results. But the government have provided these tax-wrapped accounts. They offer significant benefits and they take advantage of the one thing that kids have lots of: time. Now you can either focus on supporting them when they turn 18 or ensuring their future at retirement, or both. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire couple or a single parent struggling to make ends meet. Tucking away whatever you can afford, even if it's just 10 quid a month, can go a long way to giving your child a massive leg up in life. Or enough money for them to buy a fat exhaust for the 15-year-old Clio.
All smoothed and grooved.